Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to talk about a tool that many of us use without even thinking about it, and that is speech to text. So, while some users with disabilities will use speech to text for things like writing reports, writing emails, filling out forms, many people use speech to text every day in order to send a message to a friend in text messages or to leave a note for yourself on your phone. Speech to text at its core is any time that you use your voice to output audio that a device, a computer, a tablet, then turns in to text. So you use your speech and it turns it into text. Pretty straightforward, speech to text. So let's look at some examples of that. Okay, let's look at some ways that we can use speech to text. Right now, I am in a Google Doc, and this works similarly across different platforms, but for right now, we are in a Chrome browser, and I have a Google Doc open. Again, when we're using speech to text, we are going to use our voice, and we're going to speak in what it is we want to see into our document. So what we're going to do, first, we're going to look at a built-in tool. So by going up to Tools, I can come down to click Voice Typing. Right now, I am on a Mac, so I am going to use Command-Shift-S for a shortcut. Windows has similar shortcuts to it, but I can always just come in here and click Voice Typing. Once I do that, it is going to ask permission to use my microphone. And at that point, anything that I say is going to be typed into the page. Let's look at what that looks like. So currently I am using speech to text using the built-in text to speech tool in a Google Doc. You can tell when I am doing this, it does not type in any sort of punctuation, but it will do some capitalization for me. If you notice, it will put in a capital I or capitalize something like Google. When I click the microphone here, it's going to turn that off. So as you can see, if I am using speech to text, it's going to type what I'm saying. But in this case, this particular tool does not add punctuation in for me. What that means is I need to remember as I'm typing to add in the punctuation. So let's go ahead again and see what that looks like. This time when I am typing, I'm going to add in the punctuation, period. When I say the punctuation names, it is going to put the punctuation into the document for me, period. You are going to notice it does not always start with a capital letter at the beginning of a new sentence, period. When you are doing this type of speech to text, it is going to be important that you take your time and you think through the different capitalizations and punctuation that you are going to need. Oftentimes, this is going to require a two-step process. You are going to use speech to text to get your rough draft together, and then you are going to need to go back and do the editing to clean this up. Most text editors are going to be very straightforward and take what it is that you speak and put it into text on a page. Now that you know a little bit about speech to text, let's talk about some ways that you can get started with using it. Some of these you might already be using, and some of these might be new ideas to you. The first one is one that we use pretty regularly, and this is to write a first draft. If you are writing an email or a story for a class or a report, writing your first draft using speech to text allows you to get your ideas out onto paper quickly and easily. Many times when we're writing, our ideas will flow faster than we are able to input them through typing. And by using our voice to use speech to text, we can get our ideas out in a much more fluid manner. Also, if you are somebody who struggles with typing, this is a way to get your ideas out and onto paper so you can move forward. Sending a text message. Many of us already do this without thinking that this is actually speech to text. We might talk to a virtual assistant such as Google or Siri and ask them to send a text message to a friend or loved one. When we're doing that, we're actually using speech to text. We are using our voices to tell that assistant what we want in the message, and that message is being translated into text and sent. So many of us use this one every day without even realizing that we're using speech to text. Adding to a grocery list. Again, this is often paired with a virtual assistant of some form. But when your hands are full or you're in the middle of making a recipe and you realize that you are short on an ingredient, you can ask something like an Alexa, a Google Home, or a Siri device to add something to a list for you. Again, you are using speech to text by using your voice to put something into a text format. Taking meeting notes or creating a transcript. Again, many of our virtual meetings now have this built in. As you are talking during a meeting, that voice is being transcribed or turned into text so that you have a transcript of a meeting. Again, a lot of platforms such as Zoom are automatically doing this now or allow you to click a button to make a transcript. But you also, if you are meeting with another individual and you need notes, you can definitely use something as simple as a Google Doc with a transcribe feature. There are also a wide variety of other transcription tools out there specifically for this. But again, at their core, you are again using speech to text to get everyone's speech written into those meeting notes. Transcription. This is something that's been used for many, many years. Originally, a lot of times it would maybe be a doctor that was recording their notes, and then somebody else would listen to those notes and type them in. In many situations now, professionals will use their voice to write their notes following a meeting or a procedure. And again, a lot of times this can be a person transcribing, but more and more it is becoming something that is done with speech to text. Speech to text can be used for anybody who struggles with putting text into a computer or a tablet in a traditional manner. This can help students and adults more easily communicate with things like text messages, emails, filling out forms, writing books, can all be done with speech to text. Again, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow so that you do not miss any of our videos in the future.